Welcome, all you misfits and metalheads, to another episode of The Cutting Room Floor. We are from the band Cut Like This. I am Thorn Black.
I'm Rose Blood.
And we have music right here on YouTube and Spotify. Go check us out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Since today is Sinister Sunday, you know that means we have another hot anime for you.
Oh, yeah.
And today, we're bringing to you Fire Force. Oh no! Oh no! I got the smallest flame possible to talk about Fire Force. That's fantastic. I couldn't have planned that better. So, Rose, why don't you tell them a little bit about this one?
All right, y'all. So you probably have heard of Fire Force already. It just finished up its second season. But for those of you who haven't heard of Fire Force yet, this is the perfect time to check it out because you can binge all you want. You got 2 seasons, and they're nice and long seasons.
Yeah, you don't get that very much with anime lately. I find almost every season of anime, for the most part, is about 12, 13, 10, somewhere around that.
Exactly.
It's a full, 24 episode season, which is rare. It's great.
It's pretty dope, guys. And so we're just going to get into some of the little details. As per usual, we do not like spoilers here. So we're going to do our best to give you a good overview and let you guys know how cool this anime is. All right. This is based off of a manga by Atsushi Ōkubo, right? And this was regularly serialized in a Shonen magazine. So it's a Shonen.
Shonen kills it.
Yeah.
They do.
This wasn't Shonen Jump. This was a different one.
Ah, okay.
Yes. But anyway, another equally popular Shonen magazine. So anyways, the main character is Shinra Kusakabe, and he is a third generation fire user. All right, so this is a post-apocalyptic world where they had what was called the Great Disaster. In Japanese is Daisaigai, right? And the world was just consumed in flames.
All burnt
and
it
now, for some reason, people are spontaneously combusting into flames, and then they turn into these kind of demonic looking entities called infernals, right? So this fire force, who look a lot like firefighters, their gear,
but they're not firefighters.
They are.
They are.
They
But they specifically only fight the infernals.
Exactly. These guys are here to fight these infernals and to basically lay them to rest. And Shinra Kusakabe is the new member of Company 8, which is kind of like a gang of misfits. If you're a fan of anime like Black Clover, they're like the Black Bulls of the Fire Force, right? So they're kind of misfitish. And as I said, they're in Company 8. There are 7 other companies, and they're all very different from each other, and they have very different beliefs. For example, in Fire Force Company 8, they actually kind of go out of their way to show respect to the families. They try to not have their weapons out in front of the families of the infernals, because these are real people that are just innocent people that are just getting turned into this stuff, and it can happen to anybody, and it can happen anywhere. And you are watching the anime, there's a mystery, a deepening mystery. It seems like every episode, anytime you get answers, you just get more questions about what is going on. Why are these people spontaneous combusting? You do find a little bit more out about that in once you get to the second season, partially what's causing that, but you don't know why.
Yeah, you don't really know why at first. In the beginning, it's about Shinra, and Shinra's trying to figure out the mystery behind why his family died, because there was a big fire, and he thinks his brother is dead, and he sees a figure in the fire, and everything is just about trying to unravel this mystery of what was that figure, why did it happen, what's going on.
And of course nobody believes him because he's a kid, right? So he basically decides to become part of the Fire Force, partly because he has a power. So as soon as you show that you have a power, there's different levels of the power. So he is a third generation, which means that he can actually create a fire that comes out of his feet, actually. So, man, imagine what his shoe bill must be. You know,
I don't even know why he bothers.
Disintegrating shoes left and right throughout this anime.
I would think his shoe bill would be on the cheaper side, actually, because he must buy the cheapest things possible.
True,
I would think that's what I would do. I would just have a bunch of $10 Converse or something. That's all I would get.
Exactly. So, anyways, so as you go along, you get to see some of the other, the Company 8 is set to discover what is going on, and if in fact the Fire Force itself has been compromised by these bad guys called the White Clad. So they're part of this extremist religious sect that not a lot of people know too much about. All they know is that all of the people that participate in this religious sect are all clad in white, right? And these guys also have powers of their own.
And they all seem to be insanely strong.
And they all seem to be a little cuckoo as well.
Yeah,
they're all pretty nuts as well. Yep. So, as you're going along in the story, mystery after mystery. The first season is basically them assembling their team, because Shinra is like the newest member. So he goes in, and then his kind of like rival from school, Arthur, he comes in also. So he's like the second new guy to their little crew and stuff.
Neither one of them are right in the head, so it's really amusing.
None of them are right in the head. Yeah, it's great. They all have like their little idiosyncrasies. Now, for those of you who are not into shows with fan service, I'm just going to give you the heads up right now. There's a heck of a lot of fan service in this. As a matter of fact, there's a character who's seemingly her whole purpose is fan service, okay? Tamaki Kotatsu has this lecture lore, so basically
she'll like walk.
She just
and
like
trip
trips and all of her clothes fall off.
Like,
all of them in like the most absurd possible ways. Like she'll be straddling somebody's face randomly. Like it doesn't even make any sense. It's
so
like,
how long have we lived in New York? And I've seen a lot of people trip, but I sure enough have not seen them trip out of their clothes.
I have not.
I
don't know why.
It's a reach.
I don't know why. But she actually does get developed as a character later on, especially in the second season. So she's not just a waste of a character, but I don't really understand. I mean,
I feel like, and I'm not opposed to fan service if that's the type of thing that I'm watching, but sometimes it does feel a little out of place. Even for me, I'm like, that didn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, what?
When a guy will say something like that,
I don't know if that made sense right there, but sure, right? Like I'm not going to complain too much, but also that doesn't make sense. It's one of those you deal with it because everything else about it is so good. All the mysteries, the action, the sound effects on a lot of the fighting as well really set it off and make it stand out from a lot of other animes. I think they do a really good job with that. I love the artists, how they do fire and flames, which, the show is centered around.
Of course.
So
it has to be on point. Expect that those flames are going to look amazing.
It's really on point. These action scenes in here, they're fantastic.
And I gotta say that, as well, there is a really cool alternate art style when certain characters are activated in this they go to this kind of astral plane-ish area. So it's really cool. There's I like the change in the art style for those moments, kind of like Mob Psycho-ish, crazy jittery lines and silhouettes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. So anyways, if you haven't yet checked out Fire Force, now's the time. Go ahead and binge it. It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Hulu.
I think those are the two.
Those are the two main ones.
I'm not sure if it's on Funimation, but it's not hard to find.
As well.
It's not hard to find.
It's super popular, guys.
Yeah.
Check it out. The second season just finished. I really enjoyed the second season. I thought that it really built upon the story a lot better. I feel like the first season was okay, now we're getting to know Company 8 just like he's getting to know Company 8. And then season 2 really focuses on the mystery of what happened to his family, which is his main motivation. That's why he's even part of the Fire Force, So really cool buildup of the characters. You'll get to know them, you'll get to like them, and you'll get to see a lot of people burn, and don't get too attached to certain characters in season 2.
Because
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. The violence is like up to here on season. I mean, the whole thing. There's a lot of violence, but season 2 especially, they took it to a different place than I expected. They did. And I'm happy about
Everybody does not make it, but I love that in anime because it shows that the consequences are real.
Yeah, it does. It makes it seem like, you know. Of course, there are anime where, you know, they have their place where, you know, there's violence, but then nobody actually dies as the main characters. And then there's anime that are like Game of Thrones where, like, who knows who's going to die? All the main characters are up for grabs. And this is kind of like that kind of situation.
You just don't know.
Don't get too attached to certain characters.
So, that being said, I think we're going to move on to the rating.
Let's do it.
I'll go first. I'm going to give this one a 4.5. I gotta take a half away because some of the fan service it just doesn't make sense. It's just like trip out of my... what's happening? I don't know. But everything else is so good. Really good characters. I like how they even draw some of the characters' eyes. It's very unusual. It's only unique to this anime.
Definitely.
The artist, when it comes to the fire, the flames, it's, you know, they keep topping themselves. They keep having the consequences be higher and higher. So people are not leaving unscathed at all. And I really like that because it just makes it feel a little bit more realistic for me in this world that they're creating.
Definitely.
So that's what I'm going to give it.
All
Highly
right.
enjoyable.
Let's see. Oh, and I forgot to say, for those of you who are not familiar with Fire Force, this is the same artist that created Soul Eater as well. So if you were a fan of Soul Eater, you will probably enjoy Fire Force too. My rating is the same. I'm going to give it a 4.5, and it would have been a 5. It would have been a 5 without that Let Your Lore. You know, you kind of, you know, have a certain level of expectation of fan service when it comes to anime in general. So anyway, if you're not a fan of fan service, you might not like it because of that one character especially.
It's still worth dealing with the overall everything else, even with just the one character.
Exactly.
It's worth it. It doesn't take that much away from it.
There are fan servicey scenes with some of the other characters in the shower scene.
Not as much as that one, though. Well, not nearly as much as that particular one.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. It's not even about that. It's a great story, great action.
It is.
Check it out.
Like I said, it's super rad. Crazy fire, beautiful, like insane, intense, magical scenes. You'll enjoy it. Check out Fire Force.
That is all for us today. Thank you for watching. We have a new episode every Wednesday and every Sunday for you. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our music here and on Spotify. That's all for us today, Rose. We are